Hi guys, and welcome back. In today's video I'm making use of my marker, my ruler, my French curve, my scissors, my measuring tape which is at my neck, and also two pieces of pattern paper. I'll be using one for the front pattern, I'll be using the other for the back pattern. So guys, if you're cutting direct on your fabric, your front pattern should be two pieces and your back pattern should be on fold. I'll be using 2.5 inches for my button and buttonhole allowance on my front pattern. I'm just going to mark 2.5 inches there. Go over to this point, I'll mark 2.5 inches. I'm just going to mark 2.5 inches down to the end of my pattern paper. After doing this, I'm just going to connect those points with my ruler, just like this. After connecting those points, I'm just going to fold in my button and buttonhole allowance. I'm just going to fold in that part. Just going to fold in that part neatly. So guys, after folding, I just placed the front pattern with the back pattern just as you see me doing. You just place them together. I'm just going to use pin to hold the pattern papers together. After doing this, I'm going to impute my shirt length, which is about 35 inches. I'm going to mark 35 inches there. Also going to mark 35 inches on this other end, just so that I can get a straight line. I'm going to mark 35 inches here, and I'm going to use my ruler to connect those points. After drawing my straight line, I'm going to cut out the excesses I have on my front pattern. I'm going to use pin to hold it together. So guys, I'm going to be extending the back pattern by 2.5 inches from where I marked my shirt length. I'm going to extend the back pattern by 2.5 inches. I'm just going to mark 2.5 inches down and use my ruler to connect those points. After doing this, I'm just going to trim off the excesses I have on my back pattern. So I'm just going to go over to the top, and I'm going to be dividing my shoulder measurement by 2, which is about 9.5 inches. I'll be adding half an inch for sewing, which is 10 inches. So I'll be marking 10 inches as my shoulder length. And I'm going to go down by 1.5 inches for my shoulder sand. You can use 1 inch, but I just decided to use 1.5 inches. After doing this, I'm just going to cut that part out. Just going to confirm my measurements again which is 9.5 inches, adding half an inch to give me 10 inches, just to confirm my measurements before cutting. I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. So guys, after cutting that part out, I went down to the end of my pattern paper and I made that part equal. I had to unpin that and make that part equal by joining the front piece with the back piece and just held it down with a pin. So I came over to my shoulder line and I marked half an inch on my front pattern. After marking half an inch, I decided to use my ruler to connect those points. And after connecting those points, I placed my back pattern on that line where I marked half an inch. I just placed my back pattern on that line and pin it together. Just place your back pattern on the line where you marked half an inch. So that is an overlap of 2 inches, and after sewing, after joining, we have 1.5 inches for an overlap. I'm just going to trim off the excesses I have on my side, which is at the back pattern. I'm just going to trim off the excesses there. So guys, we are almost done. After doing that, I went ahead to insert my shoulder length again, which is 9.5 inches plus half an inch sewing allowance. Just going to mark 10 inches there. I'm going to be using that same measurement to go down to get my chest line. Just going to mark my chest line there and connect those points together. And for my chest circumference divided by 4 is 11.5 inches, which is there. At that point I marked 11.5 inches. After that, I'm going to use my French curve to make my back armhole curve. I'll be dividing my armhole length by 2, which is 5 inches, go in by half an inch, and use my French curve to connect those points to make my front armhole curve. So I have my front armhole curve and my back armhole curve. I'm going to reconfirm my chest circumference divided by 4, which is 11.5 inches, and I have that measurement down to the end of my pattern paper. I'm going to go up by 1.5 inches to make a slight curve at the end of my pattern paper because I don't want the end of my shirt to be straight, so that's just why I'm doing that there. So I'll be using a neck width of 3 inches and a neck depth of 4 inches. I'm going to use my French curve to connect those points to make my neckline, and after that I'm just going to cut out that part, but I'll be cutting just at the front pattern, just as you see me doing. Just cut only at the front pattern. and the overlap. So guys, I'll be marking my half length, which is 17 inches, which is my shoulder to my waistline, 17 inches. I'm just going to mark that point there and use my ruler to connect it to the side of my pattern paper. And after doing that, I'm just going to go inward by half an inch. You can make yours 1 inch if you like, but this is just to slim fit the shirt a little. I'm just going to connect that point to my chest line and connect it down to the shirt length, just a little bit above the shirt length. I'm just going to trim off that part. So guys, if you're making a slim fit shirt, you will have to take your waist circumference, add 2 inches and divide by 4, and also take your dart at your back pattern. That is if you are making a slim fit shirt. But this is not a slim fit shirt, guys. I just want to make that part a little fitted. So I'm just going to trim off my back armhole. I'm just going to cut it out. And I'll be cutting out the excesses so that I can have my front armhole curve. So guys, this is it. I'm just going to go ahead and label my lines. Here I have my chest line, I have my waistline, and I also have my shirt length. This is my front pattern. I'm just going to open this up for you to see. So guys, as you can see, I have my front pattern, I have my back pattern. Now I'm just going to bring out my button and buttonhole allowance. So this is it. So guys, my pattern is ready for me to cut direct on my fabric. I have my front pattern, I have my back pattern. So guys, this is the end of this video, and if this video was helpful, kindly like, share, and also subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you very much for watching, and see you in my next video. Bye.